Hey guys, how are you? Jim here at the Pain PT. And today I want to go over with you guys how to reconcile this mindfulness or awareness of your symptoms and also what we call distraction or just not paying attention to your symptoms. Because a lot of people have reached out to me or have questions about this. It's sort of, when do I attend to my symptoms or my feelings or what I notice in my body, and when do I forget about it and not focus on it at all? Now, it's a really good question, and one of the things we want to look at is, well, we want to look at both sides of this. On the one hand, we don't want to put too much focus on our symptoms because, again, they're not something of alarm or danger or pathology where we need to seek some type of medical attention. Okay, so traditionally pain has been seen as an indicator of some type of physical damage. But now you guys know and are understanding that pain is not just an indicator of physical damage, it's also an indicator of stress, okay, emotional, mental stress, which can come out in the body as pain or as somatic symptoms. It's called somatization. So this is quite common, and quite often this happens that people don't realize this or understand this. So they think every single pain or somatic complaint has to be from a physical problem. And that's why they're so worried and concerned about their symptoms. So if we look at it that way, that the condition is more driven by the brain and nervous system versus a structural local pathology, then we don't need to be concerned about the symptom. So in that case, we can forget about it. We can carry on our day, we can do our things, our activities, we can work, and maybe it's there in the background, but we're not necessarily worrying about it by focusing on it. Now, the other half of the coin, so let's say that's one side of the coin. The other half of the coin is just putting our awareness or our attention on our symptoms as if we do somatic tracking, or we're noticing what's happening in ourselves. Now, the importance of this practice is to build the capacity for you to not be concerned and worried and fearful and shut down and resist and react and fight and flee and freeze in the face of your symptoms, in the face of what you feel in your body somatically. Now, we'll take the same understanding here. The same understanding is that there isn't anything wrong physically, pathologically, structurally with TMS, with mind-body, with what we call PPD, psychophysiologic disorder or somatization. There's nothing really wrong in the body. So if we take the same understanding and premise, then we don't need to be concerned and worried and fearful about attending to our symptoms. And in fact, when we can do that, when we can be open from a mindful, aware, conscious place in the face of our symptoms, what we're doing is we're opening to them. We're teaching our brain that we're not afraid of these things, that we can process them, and we allow our subconscious, unconscious mind to speak, which it speaks through your body and what it gives you in terms of your feelings and your symptoms. So we're learning to build our feeling sense, our awareness and mindful sense, which is a different part of your brain, and that helps to tone down pain. A lot of studies show that mindfulness and awareness, if used the right way, will dampen down pain, reduce somatic complaints, and that's true. If you come from the premise that what you're attending to is fine, there isn't anything wrong, it's okay. That is the really important ingredient here on both sides of the coin, is that it's all okay. This is a mental sort of premise you have to come from, that what you're experiencing is okay in your body. It's just from stress, mental, emotional stress. We are going to put some of our awareness and our attention there to look at our stressors, what it is, what are our emotions, what is our thinking. Now we have to bring some awareness so we can see what these patterns are. We can learn to build capacity for feeling emotions. We can learn to identify our mental processes and thoughts that aren't serving us and let them go. Okay, so it's a combination of both. It's not one or the other, that you are just completely distracting from your pain. That's ignorance is bliss. And it's also not that you're hyper focusing on your pain, okay, which is called hypervigilance. So it's both sides. That's why you want to be able to move in and out of what you notice and be okay with it all on both ends. So you might attend to your symptoms for a little bit to just open up to them, to learn to feel what's there, to relax. And then once you do that, you might just head off and do something else during the day and forget about them because they're not a problem. So a little bit of back and forth with the practice. So you're working all parts of your brain in the face of symptoms and also when you're not noticing them. Okay, so I hope that's helpful and that it's not one or the other. There is sort of this process of doing both, working both sides of the coin, where you're distracting, where you might be just living your life and not worrying about the symptoms, and then also where you're spending a little bit of time learning how to be mindful and open and allowing and letting these symptoms move through you. Okay, both are very valuable. Okay, everybody, we'll talk